Hello everyone, this is Vanshika Tainwala, legal intern under Lexis and Company, and in this video I will be talking about the marriage under Hindu law. So what is marriage under Hindu law? So firstly, the marriage under Hindu law is considered to be one of the sanskaras in Hindu law because firstly there needs to be a permanent bond. Secondly, the marriage cannot be dissolved by any external force. Thirdly, it is an internal bond which needs to be followed even after the death of the party. So because of these three reasons, Hindu marriage is considered to be a sanskara. Secondly, talking about the nature of the Hindu marriage. What is the nature of the Hindu marriage? So Hindu marriage is a sacrament as well as a contract. So why is it a sacrament? We will be talking about this now. So Hindu marriage is a sacrament because it is because of three characteristics. Firstly, the marriage is done between two parties and they are bound in a sacramental bond. Secondly, they are bound in a sacramental bond. Secondly, they, even after the death of the party, they need to follow the same concept and they have to endure such bond even after the death of the party. And once the marriage is tied, it cannot be untied. And thirdly, the religious ceremonies and rites. Due to all these three conditions, the marriage is known to be a sacramental bond. Third, now why the Hindu marriage is known as a contract? Earlier, the Hindu marriage was considered to be a sacrament only because of the lack of divorce concept and lack of consent. Nowadays, the divorce process is very easy and also there is consent. Earlier days, the consent was not applicable and the parents just gave consent and the marriage did happen. Due to that, the conflict between both the parties used to happen. But nowadays, the consent plays an important role in order to constitute a valid marriage. Both the parties must consent to each other before marrying. So there must be same intention of the parties who are going to marry. So that's why the Hindu marriage is known as a contract. And also the concept of divorce. Nowadays, divorce can happen just by signing a paper. So due to this, by signing a paper, you can dissolve that bond, you can dissolve that contract. So that's why the Hindu marriage is known as contract also. In a leading landmark case of Anjuna Dasi versus Ghosh, it has also been held that Hindu marriage has resemblance of both the contract and of the sacrament. So coming on to the statutory provisions which are mentioned in the Hindu Marriage Act. So under section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act, we see that there are 5 essentials, 5 valid constituents which needs to be present in order to constitute a valid marriage. So firstly is monogamy. That is, neither of the spouses should have a living partner at the time of the marriage. That means both the spouses should have not been married to any other person who is living at the time of their marriage. So first is monogamy. Second is the capacity of the parties. Both the parties should be capable of understanding the consequences of the marriage and both the parties should give their consent to each other and both the parties should be sane and they should not be insane. Thirdly, the age of the parties. So under Hindu law, the age of the parties are for the bride, the age is 18 years and for the groom, the age is 21 years. Fourthly, there must be no prohibited relationship. There must be no existence of prohibited relationship within which the marriages are not allowed in the same blood group or in half blood group or in uterine blood. The marriages are not allowed. We will see that in the other video. Fifthly, there must be no sapinda relationship between both the parties. Sapinda means the particles of the same bodies. So the two persons who are going to marry should not have any sapinda, should not have any common ancestors of each other. That is the meaning of sapinda basically. So these are 5 conditions are necessary in order to constitute a valid marriage. So coming on now to the forms and ceremonies of marriage. So there are, under section 7, we see that there are 7. Under section 7, it is mentioned that marriages are to be performed in ceremonies. Under section 7, there is no specific ceremony which is mentioned as per, but in Hindu law, we see 5 common ceremonies which are followed. First is Pani Grahan, second is Kanyadan, third is Vivahoma, and fourth is Satpadi. Under section 7, the concept of Satpadi is also mentioned, where in a specific custom, the Satpadi is to be followed. Satpadi is the taking of 7 steps around the fire, around the Agni. So, if the Satpadi concept is to be followed, then marriage is said to be completed when the 7th step, when the last step is taken. Then the Satpadi is to be completed. So, this was under section 7 of the Hindu Marriage Act. So, I hope you understood this concept of marriage under Hindu law. Thank you for listening.